to go crazy about. Please just be patient with me. I will try my best. If I say anything out of that sounds crazy, just inform me in the comment section. I'm trying to learn more. I was talking to my friend about on Discord on how Bellingham. I don't know. I can't really say British names. How he is very like, I guess I don't know much about midfielder. So I was talking about how he was a great midfielder. And he was talking about he's an 8 or something like that. I don't know. Like tactic wise, I can't speak tactics with you. So let's see this game. They were talking about how another player at Barca was better than him. Let me watch this. Let me inform myself, and then I'll make an opinion about it. I only seen Bellingham's highlights. Let's watch this.
Right now, the hottest debate in the game.
I have gone with Jude Bellingham. However, if he came back to me in a few months...
Except, over the last couple of weeks, it's slowly come to an end.
Number one, he's the best player in the Liga this season.
The way Pedri controls the game is unbelievable. No one controls the game like he does.
Game after game, performance after performance, Barcelona's midfield genius has been proving why the debate between him and Real Madrid's midfield powerhouse is over. Bossing Barcelona's midfield, dictating the tempo of big games, and when they've gone face to face, it's safe to say Pedri has clearly ghosted Jude Bellingham this season. The 2024-25 version of Pedri we're seeing now is out of this world. It's like every time he plays, he's magic, and it's something both himself and his teammates and the Barcelona fans can't seem to get enough of.
Because he's an unbelievable player, and the precision, I think, is one of the best, of course. He's always...
According to his manager, he's one of the best in this position, and rightly so too, because amongst the options in that position is the Englishman who many believed at some point last season wasn't just the best midfielder in the world, but the best player on the planet, Jude Bellingham. Halfway into the 2023-24 season, Jude Bellingham had the football world at his feet. There was even talk about him potentially winning the Ballon d'Or at some point, but from that period till now, the narrative has changed.
Pedri pues tiene para hacer su carrera con el talento que tiene.
Pedri has shifted the debate, and has even got his idol talking about him now. And without wasting any time, just how good has Pedri been this season? And how has he ghosted Jude Bellingham then? Roughly translated to football terms, it's the ability to know when to speed up play and when to pause a game, the ability to dictate the tempo of a match. Look this up in the football dictionary, and right now, the image that comes out is Pedri.
He's passing, he runs into the box.
So, as a midfielder is basically supposed to what? Control the game and then pass the ball, right? So scoring doesn't matter as much is what I'm guessing, right? Do midfielders also play defense? Because he did talk about how he controls the ball and how he slows down the game. But like, I'm not like, do they not play defense? Does Bellingham maybe play better defense than him? I don't know how it works, so you guys can let me know.
At times.
Honestly, this statement is no joke. It's almost as if Barcelona right now moves according to how Pedri wants them to. When he wants the team to play at a fast tempo, Pedri ups the game. That special movement he does where he allows the ball to roll across his body before picking the pass into the final third,
that was hard.
It's incredible. This is no direct shade at Jude Bellingham. I mean, he's an incredibly talented footballer and all. But when it comes to dictating the tempo for Real Madrid, it's an area of the pitch where they're still trying to find a fix.
Balance to this team, structure, control with the ball, controlling the tempo.
This sums it up. Again, it's no discredit to Jude Bellingham or the players in the Real Madrid team, particularly in midfield. But it's very clear just watching Los Blancos play that they lack what Toni Kroos used to bring to the team. There's no player in the Real Madrid team right now, Jude Bellingham included, who can dictate the tempo of matches or be...
Okay, one more question. Do all the midfielders have the same job? Because he said Cruz retired. Maybe like Pedri and Bellingham don't play the same role, even though they play in midfield. Maybe like Bellingham's thing is to score more, and to assist more, and then Pedri's thing is to control the ball, control the pace of the game. So they could be playing two different roles.
The orchestra in midfield, stringing passes together and making the team tick. What they lack in that area of the pitch, Barcelona has with Pedri. There are just so many aspects of his game now that make him a special talent. The fact that he rarely loses the ball, for example. Pedri is press resistant. He just makes it look so effortless at times. The way he glides with the ball leaves the opposition players trying to mark him, struggling to understand bearings, and to top it off, once he gets into the offensive positions of the pitch, he's more often than not the guy who turns up with the pass before the final pass that leads to a goal. The numbers do not lie either. On the rare occasions Pedri does actually lose the ball with a misplaced or intercepted pass, as of recording this, that figure stands at 9.42 per 90 on average. Jude Bellingham's numbers in the same category stand at 10.23 per 90. You might be tempted to think the difference between the two in this metric isn't huge, but here's the tipping point. It's one thing to lose possession, which Pedri rarely does, but the difference is how quick and eager he, just like the rest of the Barcelona team is, to win the ball back. In the metric of ball regains per 90, Bellingham's number stands at 10.17 per 90. Pedri? 13.89 per 90.
So
this is where the gap starts to widen a bit, and that's because, as we just touched on the rare occasions he does lose the ball, he's like a workhorse trying to win it back. This isn't to say that Bellingham slacks when he loses possession. No, far from it. If anything, he's one of the hardest working guys in midfield. Probably the guy who works his socks off trying to win the ball back for Los Blancos. And it makes him crucial to the team. But the point here is, and a few might disagree, but the numbers don't lie now. Pedri does it better. You see guys, the balance Pedri brings to that Barcelona team is very underrated. It almost feels as if no matter how much we talk about it, it won't still be fully explained. It's that huge. He does everything. But in the 2024-25 season, he's somehow doing everything and more. And at this point, ghosting Jude Bellingham too. Let's be real for a second. Under Xavi, this debate was the other way around.
And score goals from time to time. I just think like he's a modern midfielder.
When Jude Bellingham was scoring those clutch goals, combined with his sensational performances in midfield, it was like no one could come close to him, not even Pedri. But it's all changed this season, and it's down to one man. And what he's done to Pedri Potter, Hansi Flick. The arrival of the German coach has done more than just change Pedri's game. It's elevated it to a completely new level.
He's 100% fit and it's very good to see what he's doing with the ball.
It's a statement Hansi Flick has repeated again and again this season, that Pedri is the best in the world, and the position he plays in midfield, which in itself is one of the two major ways Hansi Flick has elevated Pedri's game, that's made him ghost Jude Bellingham. See, it's not like Pedri was undervalued under Xavi, far from that.
It's an unbelievable player, he controlled the space and time really well, the timing.
Xavi, just like Hansi Flick, was always full of praise for Pedri, but the difference between the two is how they made use of him. Under Xavi, Pedri was focused more on being the heart of the team in midfield, and that's receiving the pass and then advancing with the ball, controlling the half spaces. The idea is that he had more offensive work with Xavi, and it's easy to understand why. This was at a time when Sergio Busquets was still in the team, and to be fair, with Busquets around, no one does it better in that holding midfield position for Barcelona.
Wait, so I was right. So they are playing two different roles. Basically, last year. So basically, what I'm getting. Hold on, let me make this screen. Basically, what I'm getting is Pedri was playing as an attacking midfielder last year, and Jude is always playing as an attacking midfielder, right? Hold on, chat. My fucking shit is kind of down. I don't know what's happening. Saying, because my camera fucking died. When they both were playing, when Pedri was playing as an attacking midfielder, and then when Jude is playing for an attacking midfielder, Jude is better because that's not Pedri's position. But when Pedri is playing as a, I guess, non-attacking midfielder, because I don't know much about football, that's his right position. So he plays great as that position. But Jude plays as an attacking midfielder, so you can't really compare the two. Do you see what I'm going with this? Because they kind of do both play midfielder, but one plays as an attacking midfielder, and the other one plays as a I guess, I don't know, defensive midfielder, or just I don't know what they called it. I don't know. I'll just call it defensive midfielder. So it's like, if Pedri had one of his worst seasons last year as an attacking midfielder, then you can't compare. Now that he's having a great season as I don't know what he does, a controller midfielder, I don't know. He's having a great season as that. You can't now compare him to Jude, because Jude is still an attacking midfielder. It's like, if you made that argument, you would come up to me and I would be like, well, look at last year when Pedri was playing as an attacking midfielder. Look at his numbers and how bad he was. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like the argument that you can make as a Jude fan. But you guys can let me know.
The results were kind of decent too. I mean, it's a combination that did end up winning La Liga in the 2022-23 season, but things changed after Busquets left the club. In 2023-24, that's where we began to see the problems a bit. The shape of the team, using just one player at the base the same way they did with Xavi, wasn't working, and that's why at times last season, Barcelona became so predictable, and even open too. So how has Hansi Flick changed this then? Well, he's found a balance in the team that revolves around Pedri. Usually, for large parts of the season, at the base it's a two-man midfield with Pedri and Marc Casado, with Dani Olmo playing in that advanced number 10 role, which also helps Pedri's game. But the main idea is the pairing of Pedri and Casado has been sensational from Flick. It's mainly about what it does. Marc Casado is the more defensive-minded player in the two, and so he's the one who operates at the base to protect, and having a player like that as cover allows Pedri to get into those central pockets where he can dictate the play. Now, this isn't to say Pedri isn't defensive-minded too, far from that. If anything, it's just clear now that no matter the combination Flick decides to use at the base of midfield, Pedri can perform. Like we've mentioned with Casado, or even when he plays with Frankie de Jong. The way the Dutchman plays, Frankie de Jong is more of a roaming midfielder, and by that it means he picks the ball, he begins to drive into positions, or move into positions across the pitch to receive passes when he's not with the ball. Usually, this should pose a problem with the way Barcelona plays, because having two players who are somewhat similar without a proper defensive structure in midfield could lead to serious problems when the opposition turns over possession. But again, this is where the brilliance of Pedri comes into play. When Flick decides to go with Frankie de Jong and Pedri combo in midfield, Pedri takes that Casado position where he acts as a screen between defensive and midfield. And as we've seen so far this season, he does more than just put in a shift when playing in that deeper role. He's almost become a natural. Now all of this is a big plus to Pedri in the way he's ghosted Jude Bellingham this season. Right now, the discussions and debate around this topic might have cooled down a bit, and that's because it seems like Carlo Ancelotti has finally found a tactical tweak that works with the team, but for large parts of the season, it was one central idea.
They weren't great, but they won, but Bellingham got 1 star. While the front three or the front two do their thing, Bellingham's having to be all around to make sure there's no space.
Bellingham is the example. The problem was the balance and the structure in midfield. It was not working. I mean, yeah, they were doing great because they were scoring goals and grinding results, even up till now. But let's look at this in reality for a bit. The attack is where it's at for Real Madrid now. Mbappe's turning up. They've got Vinicius Jr. down the left. Rodrigo so far plays like a player with a point to prove. Federico Valverde has been amazing every time he plays, but more recently, he's been impressing from right back. The defensive pairing of Rudiger and Raul Asensio is working, and in everything I've said, the one position that's missing is midfield. That's because, in that area of the pitch, despite the combinations they've used, it's still not quite it yet. As the earlier clip suggests, Bellingham has had difficult moments this season, and this is largely due to one central theme. But before we get to that, make sure to hit that subscribe button to Football Historia for more videos like this.
Okay, while he's doing that, I think this whole thing comes down to Jude Bellingham doesn't have another midfielder player to play with him, right? Like Pedri, like he was saying, he mentioned another player that was in the midfield with him, that was like playing with him, that was a defensive midfielder. But it doesn't seem like Jude has that ability, doesn't have that option. Or he hasn't talked about anybody like that. So maybe it's not that Pedri is better, it's just that Pedri is at a better system, like on a better, like he's playing overall, the system that's built around his way better. I think that's what it is, to be honest with you.
If you haven't already, this was the verdict with Jude Bellingham at the period he joined Real Madrid, and it still is too. His IQ is so high that he can do a bit of everything, but the problem that still exists is that he's now required to do almost everything in that Real Madrid midfield, cover spaces, win possession, and at the same time, there's still the expectation of wanting to see him get into goal-scoring positions like he was last season. The deeper you go into this, the more it becomes clear just how underrated Pedri is, and how that narrative is fast changing this season. As the earlier clip suggests, Jude Bellingham is the guy who could do a bit of everything, but the truth is, right now, Pedri is in that same category too. The comparison with Pedri has always been the duo of Xavi and Iniesta.
So young, you played with Xavi and Iniesta. Are we talking that sort of quality?
This might sound absurd and crazy, and that's because he still has a long career ahead of him, but right now it's a fact. The duo of Xavi and Iniesta? Pedri is more complete than the two. Think about it. As good as they were, the main discussions around Xavi and Iniesta were how good they were with passes and the way they could control games. Xavi with the spaces, Iniesta with the dribbling and turns into half space. Pedri does more with his passes than Xavi, and with the dribbling, he has almost, if not equal, the same ability as Iniesta.
I think
but the major difference here, the one that makes Pedri more complete, is the defensive aspect of his game.
The first time I'm seeing
the same ability he's got going forward is the same one he's got in the reverse, tracking back to win the ball, intercepting opposition passes, and covering for the team, knowing when to drop and when to stay at the base. The best part about this is the way Pedri defends. I mean, yeah, sure, he does get in his fair share of tackles, but the emphasis here is the best way to defend isn't necessarily by tackling or getting stuck in. No, it's by controlling the game. If you manage to hold onto the ball almost all game, there wouldn't be the need to get stuck in. And that's the aspect of this game Pedri has that's an upgrade to Jude Bellingham. The control of the game to not have to get the team making as many defensive actions because he helps retain possession for large parts. He's put this on display too. That game versus Benfica was a standout. If he was ever getting slept on, the world took notice. 107 passes, 84 out of 88 accurate passes, a 95% pass accuracy, 3 chances created, 7 duels, 5 tackles, 1 possession 10 times, and 0 fouls committed. It doesn't get any better than this. Again, the numbers don't lie, and they still don't quite cover just how good he is. Look at that. He was just as impressive as he was going forward as he was defending. 3 chances created, 95% passing accuracy, 84 out of 88 passes. All very impressive, but the big standout here is the defensive work he put in. He won possession 10 times for the team, put in 5 tackles and 7 duels, all without committing a single foul. Let's be real, those are elite defensive midfield numbers. To level the playing field a bit, the biggest downside to Pedri's game, the one where Bellingham has the upper hand, has been his lack of goal contributions. The more Bellingham came up with those clutch moments last season, the more the conversation
I'm
shifted.
not gonna watch anymore. I formed enough opinion from it. Okay, so this is my thing, right? This video did make me a fan of Pedri. It has nothing to do with the guy on the video says. It just had to do more with the highlights, to be honest with you. I think his dribbling ability to get out of like tight spaces, it's insane. Like that was insane. Like, you know, like I don't watch midfielders a lot. I don't know. I just see like every highlights that I've seen or everything I watched recently was just strikers and stuff like that. So like for me to watch a midfielder and see like those little turns and everything, like the little turns he's doing and everything, I don't know if they all can do it, but from what I've seen, what he's doing is fucking insane. Okay, so that itself made me a fan of him, but I still don't have enough information to say which one is better than which, because from what I'm hearing, they play two different roles. Like Bellingham plays one role and then Pedri plays another role. So I can't really make an opinion on which one is better myself. So I'm gonna leave that there. You guys can tell me like why you think one is better than the other. Please don't do don't do it because of your team biases. I don't really care about teams. Just tell me like as a football watcher, because a lot of you have been watching football way more than me. I mean, everybody has been watching football way more than me because I just started watching like not even a month ago. You guys who know more, so you guys inform me, and please don't use numbers. I don't care for numbers. It's the same thing with basketball. I hate when people come up to me and try to have a basketball argument with me and they use numbers. They're like, oh, jokers, plus and minus numbers are this insane. I don't care. Like as a player, like as a kid sitting down, if I was to turn on football, like which one would I like? Like, you know what I mean? Just as a kid turning on football, not worrying about numbers, just watching the game itself, would it be Pedri or would it be Bellingham? You know? Don't tell me about the numbers. I don't care about, like, you know? That's the same way I approach basketball. All right, guys, subscribe, comment. I will keep going on my journey of learning more about football. I hope you join me with that and you inform me more, and we can go from there. Thank you so much.